Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here, and today we're going to be looking at this probably highly illegal hard drive bought off AliExpress that claims to be a full-blown bootable Batocera emulation powerhouse. Now, depending on whether you're a new person or an old person to AliExpress, it may depend on what you're paying for it. But you can see it claims 100,000 plus games. You can see it's under 20 bucks, whether you're a returning customer or a new customer. The question is, does it work on the Steam Deck? And what's actually on it? Is it well, it's not legit, of course, it's all piracy, but what actually is on it, and is it worth taking a look at? So you really get the drive, and you get a drive cable, and that's about it. This is really cool. It's all done in like this cassette tape format, which is one of the things that really caught my eye here. KinHanK, I don't know how you pronounce that. They claim it's USB 3 to SATA 3, and it works on all versions of Windows, Linux, and everything else. So technically speaking, this should work on a Steam Deck. It's cool looking, I won't lie, but it's just a standard 2.5-inch drive in there. And I bet it's a slow one too. But you can't really tell from here, so we're going to have to open it up later on and find out. This is your standard plug, and because it is USB-A, I'm going to have to add an adapter to the end of it to get it to plug right in, or I could use a dock, of course. But yeah, I mean, it feels good enough. Let's put this dongle on here so that we can make USB-A to USB-C, and we'll go ahead and plug it into the Steam Deck. Now we should be able to just go right to the boot menu and select the Batocera partition. Right there, easy peasy. And let's see if it works. So we are getting some drive light blinking going on back there, so it looks like it's doing something. And again, you know, they claim it's supposed to be for like a computer. You're supposed to plug it into a computer and it will just work on anything because it's its own install. There's nothing, it's not using your OS for anything. Now, I was going to clip a lot of this out, but I wanted you to see how long it took to boot. You can still see it's blinking, and it's one of these annoying images that has like an entire long intro video every time you boot it up. That'd be the first thing that would have to go if I were keeping this. Now, obviously, I feel that this is probably not something that I should keep my hands on. KinHanK, hey, look at that. They even got their own branding. I'll probably wipe this drive. I mean, I really thought that I could keep the drive in the case, and it was cool looking, and it's 500 gigabytes, and it's 18 bucks. So I suspect it'll come up in landscape or something weird like all these other weird images do, but we could get lucky. Well, look at that. That looks like your standard emulation station type look and feel. You can see it's going through all the systems, and it's taking a really, really long time. So usually that means there's a lot of systems and a lot of games, or both. So we shall see. I'm going to let this thing just run. And it's still going. Sorry that the camera keeps wigging out so you can't see what's loading, but we're going to look at all the different systems that are included on here. Now, this is the time that I use the disclaimer. The stuff that's on here is all copyright. The BIOS files that are on here, the ROM files that are on here, none of this is really legal. And I don't know how like Amazon and AliExpress and all these companies get away with selling this stuff, but they do. And I want you guys to know what this is in case you decide that, you know, maybe you want to step onto the plank and sail the seven seas. Okay, so you can't hear it, but there's music playing in the background. It claims here that there's 114,000 games. Wow. Now, I didn't play 27 games, so that must have been a leftover from the disk image. But here you go. We're going to go through each one. You can see the games list right there. 60, 13, 6. I'm just going to go through here fairly quickly if you want to stop and pause the video so you can see what's on each one. Some of these have practically nothing in there, but one or two. Some of them look like maybe they have the entire ROM set in there. Lots of Atari 8-bit stuff. Some systems I have absolutely never heard of. 6900 Commodore 64, a full Final Burn Neo set, Game & Watch, Game Boy, Advance, Color, Game Gear. Now when we get to GameCube, there's like 25 games, which blew me away. I don't even know what the GX400 is. Another system I have no idea. But you can see that there is a boatload of things represented here. MSX, MSX2 with a ton of games. Naomi, Neo Geo CD, 97 in there. Neo Geo Pocket. Somebody likes Neo Geo a lot because they got them all in there. 11 for 64 DD, whatever that is. A lot in there. Even Nintendo hacks. The Super Famicoms. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in there. One thing under Switch. Just one. And I'm really shocked that they put anything on there at all. Not with what Nintendo is up to these days. See, there's a little PS2. There's one item for PS3. A whole bunch of PSPs. This weird little Pokemon mini portable. Listen, there's a ton of stuff in here, to be honest. And, you know, whether or not what you're looking for happens to be in here, probably is. Look at that. Sega CD, Sega Genesis, Genesis hacks. I don't know why they shuffle in between Mega Drive and stuff, but there's Super Nintendo hacks, Super Graphics System, Supervision. Like I said, it's all in here. This is all in alphabetical order, so we're almost done. Virtual Boy, probably everything for the Virtual Boy, a couple of Wii games, one Wii U game, and something in Windows. I don't know what that is. And Xbox has one. Sinclair has 20,000 games. 20,000. And we're back to the beginning. So now, of course, these could be like 100 copies of the same game, right? I mean, you just don't know. So if we go into Final Burn Neo, you can see that there's artwork scraped. I don't know if there's any video, but you can scroll down here. Let's just for giggles, let's just start 1942. See how this, I mean, it may not even run. I don't know. Well, this ran. You can see they took some liberty by putting like CRT filters and stuff on it. Now, I'm not a huge fan of that, so I would have to go in. I don't like the fact that it chops off some of the graphics and all that stuff. That sort of thing bothers me. But, you know, these are all customizable things. Let's just kind of flip through here at random. Looks like most of the artwork, if not all of it's here. Some GameCube stuff. Let's just, I don't know, grab this first one. I don't want to really play Nintendo stuff on here. I don't need that level of heat. But this is GameCube, and they don't seem to be caring too much about GameCube these days. Looks like it's working. I don't know how well it'll work, but we got the Nintendo logo. Let's get the hell out of here. So yes, there is a plethora of classic Nintendo stuff on here. A little less, I think, on the newer stuff, which is great. Mega Drive, I was just going to bring this up. It boots. You can see that it's got the filters on it. It has the bezel art on it. Yeah, I mean, there's just a boatload of stuff on here. And it doesn't appear to be the same weird Chinese knockoff stuff where it's the same, you know, 550 Super Mario Brothers. I just skipped ahead because the drive is slow. It's a slow hard drive. It's 5,400 RPMs. I'll show you here in a minute. So loading games, building shaders, streaming game assets, it's going to be very slow on this drive. So if I were keeping this drive, I would probably copy the entire contents of it as an image over to a 7,200 RPM 2.5 inch drive and put that inside the case. But it doesn't matter because I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to nuke this thing. But yeah, you can see that it works, right? Okay. Well, so this is what it looks like on the Steam Deck side. I mean, and I assume that if you booted it off of a PC, it would look very, very similar. I didn't do that. I was more interested in how it would work with the Steam Deck. But yeah, I mean, here's all the different sort of settings. It looks like there's some sort of an update system. So I was going to look in on that. Of course, you do have to connect yourself to a Wi-Fi. So I did that real quick just to see if any sort of weird updates would actually happen. Stable update, check for updates. And it says it's working, but there's no update available. So I got something nice and fresh apparently, or that update's just BS. Hard to say with these sort of things, but it works. I mean, it works on the Steam Deck. It's very attractive. So, yeah, I think our next step maybe is to open this guy up. Let's take a peek at under the covers. Now, it's a transparent case. There's not a whole lot going on, but maybe we can confirm the drive speed. There's no screws. There's no obvious hooks. So it's going to be Mr. Spludger here to get it open. I did try with my fingernail, but I don't really have one. So I did manage to get this open with a little splooger or spludger, however you pronounce that. There you go. See? And here's the drive. Yeah, it's just a case, a small controller, and the drive. It's All right, it's let's see, it's a Seagate drive. It doesn't say anywhere on here the speed, which doesn't surprise me. I would just assume that it was a 5400 RPM drive, because that would be the cheapest, right? That'd be the cheapest way to do mass storage of 500 gigabytes. There you go. It's Seagate. There's the model number if you want to look it up. I did take a peek on it on eBay, and it is definitely a cheap drive. But here's the funny part. It's cheap, but it's not that cheap. Like, even if you paid $20 for this drive in the case and all the crap that's on it, it's still cheaper than just going over to eBay and buying a refurbished version of this drive. Something to think about. Now, again, your mileage may vary. I don't recommend really anybody buy anything from AliExpress without being ready to just throw away the money that you spent. I know some people love it. I'm very hesitant. So let's go over to the PC here, and we plug the drive in. We're going to go ahead and look at disk management and see exactly what we're talking about here. There are two partitions, and between the two of them, they look like they would add up to 500 gigabytes. So that's pretty cool. Yes, a lot of times you get these things and it says it's a 500 gigabyte or 1 terabyte, and it's really like 256 or 128, something small. You're really expecting to get screwed, especially in a legally gray market like this. But here you go. You can see everything that's on both partitions. One of them is obviously the boot partition at the bottom, the K drive, and then the L drive itself is where you're looking, BIOS and ROMs, right? That's the crux of emulation. So let's see what we got here, shall we? 1.25 gigabytes. I'm going to turn on a file counter here. One of the great things of Directory Opus, I can actually bring up a per folder file count, so we can actually see how many files are in each folder. The BIOS has 224 files. Cheats has 0 files. So if we sort this, we should be able to tell where all the stuff is. Now, ROMs is still parsing. If there's as many ROMs in here as I think there are, we're going to have to do something different. So I just went ahead and right-clicked and hit Properties. 432 gigabytes. Excellent. Okay, and then we look down here. The L drive has 22 gigabytes free. Not a lot of room for your own crap. So keep that in mind. You'll probably have to delete some stuff, and I'm sure there's stuff for you to delete. I did look up the drive itself, and I was trying to find a speed rating as well as what it might cost you. And on Amazon, there's really no speed rating in here. I just didn't get great scores, as you can see. And then I went to eBay and found the drive, and that's when I found a description that sort of confirms what I thought, that this is a 5400 RPM drive. And it's very obvious. If you'd watched Castlevania booting and watching the popping in of the graphics, you would know for a fact too that it was 5400 RPM. So not probably fast enough for most stuff, like early stuff. But if you're doing anything that does texture streaming or anything like that, you're going to definitely want to get a faster drive. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got. The breakdown. SFC almost 15,000. Z Spectrum has 9,800. Commodore 64 6,900. Fileburn Neo, maybe a full set there, over 6,000. Look at this. So you can tell where it was that they were looking to put their time and effort and energy into. But it's really nice, honestly, if we're going to look at this objectively, it's nice that they did include some of these old oddball systems. And frankly, I'm rather glad that this isn't just a big Switch copy fest or a PS3 copy fest. PS3 is probably fair game, but Switch is still an existing system. It's their livelihood. This is their current generation system. I'm not a big fan of emulation and piracy of that nature, but look at this. All sorts of arcade stuff, MAME versions, probably a lot of fluff you could likely cut out of here. But yeah, even the Odyssey 2, for crying out loud, has 133 files in it. This is pretty cool. The Nintendo stuff, there's not a lot in here. Nintendo DS has a lot, but if you go up here and look at, say, something like 3DS, there's not a lot in there. There's only one Switch title in here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of glad that this particular image really sticks to what I would call preservation. That is stuff that's not currently for sale, and that would be something useful for preservation's sake, not for piracy's sake. So this would be a great drive for you to buy. and stuff in a drawer, right? This would be your backup, because a lot of us spend so much time curating our collections of classic stuff, and all it takes is one drive to fail, no backup, and you're starting at square one again. So maybe something like this, if your morals can handle it, maybe this is the sort of drive that you could get for a personal archive. This has a lot of stuff. Now, there's a lot of stuff it doesn't have, so you'd have to sort of augment. But overall, I think this looks pretty good. All right, well, this is it. KinHanK K Portable HDD from AliExpress. If you like what you saw here, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Of course, appreciate you watching. This is Shane R. Monroe, and we'll see you next time. While you're here, why don't you check out some of these other great videos right here on Monroe World. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.